Welcome to today's explainer. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to treat a seemingly mundane, everyday automated network error page like a literal digital crime scene. We hit error pages all the time while we're browsing, right? But we rarely stop to think about the massive amount of automated surveillance, the strict rule enforcement, and the split-second digital forensics happening behind the scenes. Well, today we're opening the file on one very specific, incredibly revealing incident.
Imagine this. You're just browsing along, minding your own business, when boom, you hit this sudden, invisible wall. And you're left wondering, what actually happens when the internet thinks you're a robot? You haven't done anything malicious, well, at least not that you know of, but suddenly, the system just throws its hands up and completely shuts you out. That's exactly the scenario we're diving into with our source material today. It's a classic digital standoff between an everyday user and a highly sensitive automated gatekeeper.
This right here brilliantly captures the exact moment that digital tripwire gets tripped. Our systems have detected unusual traffic from your computer network. It's such a stark, uncompromising message. But pay close attention to the phrasing here. It doesn't actually say that you did something wrong, does it? It says it detected unusual traffic from your computer network. And let me tell you, that distinction is absolutely crucial. In fact, it's going to be the central clue for our entire investigation today.
All right, let's look at our case briefing. We're going to break this down into 5 stages. First, the unusual traffic incident itself. Second, decoding the terms of service. Third, identifying the usual suspects. Fourth, analyzing the IP address evidence. And finally, understanding how the block actually expires. Starting with Section 1, the unusual traffic incident, the digital crime scene. Let's establish exactly when and where this invisible wall dropped down. Looking at the incident report, we've got a highly specific target. Someone, or something, was trying to reach a very particular blogger page about the Chichoe Incline Project game. And check out the precision on this timestamp. The request was halted at exactly 12:22 and 53 seconds Zulu time on August 5th, 2026. So we aren't talking about some vague general glitch here. This is a highly documented, instantly logged event. And the immediate result of this little anomaly? A complete and total halt. It completely freezes the user out of the target URL. The system doesn't even offer a CAPTCHA or a button to prove you're human. Nope. It just issues a firm, non-negotiable command to please try your request again later. At this point, the user is literally just at the mercy of the automated defenses.
Moving on to Section 2, decoding terms of service, the digital rulebook. Let's dig into why the system actually cared so much about this one specific request in the first place.
Here is the really crucial point to understand. This was not a manual ban. This happens when an automated detection system aggressively enforces its terms of service. There wasn't some guy sitting in a server control room who saw this request come in and hit a big red block button. No way. We're talking about algorithms monitoring vast oceans of data, and they instantly flag the specific inbound traffic as breaking the rules. It's basically machine speed justice, entirely based on pattern recognition.
Section 3. The usual suspects. Who triggered the block? Now that we've secured the crime scene and checked the rulebook, we have to ask who or what actually triggered this defense.
Before we start pointing fingers, we need to understand the weapon of choice here, the automated request. You see, these systems are expecting human behavior, right? They expect clicks, little pauses, scrolling, taking time to read. So when traffic suddenly hits the server in these massive rapid-fire bursts or follows perfectly rigid, unnatural patterns, the system immediately goes on high alert. It assumes there's a robot at the keyboard, not a person.
Our source gives us a lineup of potential culprits that could be generating this traffic behind the scenes. Now, it could be something totally sinister, like malicious software silently running in the background. Or it could just be a poorly coded browser plugin that's gone completely haywire. It might even be a deliberate script someone wrote to scrape data. But here is the most fascinating one to me. It could literally just be a regular human being typing and sending requests so incredibly fast that the system actually mistakes them for a machine. How wild is that?
And surprisingly, as this quote explicitly warns us, you don't even need malicious software to trigger this. Sometimes, just using advanced search terms that bots are known to use is enough to get you flagged. So the system isn't just clocking your speed, it's actively analyzing the content of what you're doing. If you format your searches using those complex operators that data mining bots love to use, the pattern recognition catches it. You are literally speaking the language of the machines, and the gatekeeper is going to slam the door shut. Let's look at Section 4, The IP address evidence, analyzing the metadata. This is honestly the most compelling part of our explainer today. We're looking at the hard metadata left at the scene, and this is where things take a really fascinating turn. Okay, here's our smoking gun. We have a direct mismatch between two IP addresses logged by the system. The log is explicitly pointing out this discrepancy, showing that 66.249.84.172 absolutely does not match 74.125.209.5. This little inequality is huge for our case. It implies the traffic hitting the server wasn't coming from one simple single source. And actually, this mismatch, it's the exact reason why that first error message we looked at blamed the computer network instead of blaming you directly.
Because of this IP mismatch, the source gives a really important warning. If you share a network connection, a totally different computer could be the one responsible. Think about it. You could just be sitting in a coffee shop or your office or a dorm room, just browsing away perfectly normally. But if someone else on that exact same shared Wi-Fi is running some sketchy script or has malware, the system just flags the public IP address you're both sharing. Boom. You become collateral damage in someone else's traffic violation. And then you're the one forced to go track down a network administrator for a problem you didn't even cause.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, how the block expires, resolving the standoff. Now that we understand the crime and the evidence, how do we actually get back online?
The path to redemption is actually pretty simple. It just takes 3 sequential steps to get your access back. Step 1, the unusual automated requests have to stop entirely. Maybe the script finally finishes, or the malware gets caught, or hey, maybe that incredibly fast typist just went to get a coffee. Step 2, the automated system detects that silence and the block simply expires shortly after. There's no customer service line to call or appeal forms to fill out. It's basically just a mandatory automated timeout. And finally, Step 3. Once the block lifts, you can successfully try your request again.
So I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative question to think about next time you log on to public Wi-Fi. If a single boring error page can reveal this much about network monitoring, who else is sharing your IP address right now? And what exactly are they sending out into the internet? We've just seen how a few tiny lines of an error message actually expose this massive automated system that's constantly monitoring your speed, your vocabulary, and your network routing. It really goes to show that in the digital world, your reputation is completely tied to the unseen actions of every single person sharing your digital doorway. Thanks for joining me on today's Explainer, and definitely keep your eyes peeled the next time you hit one of those invisible walls.